Grandpa, anaplastic thyroid cancer. I'm 10 years old now. When will I finally be an anaplastic thyroid cancer like you?
Oh, slow down there now, papillary thyroid cancer. You'll get there one day. It takes time to grow and develop into an anaplastic thyroid cancer like me.
I want to be a cool, aggressive cancer like you now, though. How do I become like you?
Well, as you know, to grow into an aggressive cancer like me requires you to have certain mutations. Right now, you're still a papillary thyroid cancer. You're still very differentiated, like 90% of the other thyroid cancers out there. People like you, more than me, you're not as aggressive and have a much better survival chance. Are you sure you want to be like me?
Absolutely. I don't care what the other cancers think. You're cool and aggressive, and you kill your host 99% of the time within 5 years. You're the bad boy. You have all the cool mutations. You grow the fastest. You're able to metastasize. You're everything I want to be. How do I become like you? Can you please tell me how you got to where you are today?
All right then. Why don't you come here and start by telling me what mutations you already have and what they do? Surely you have some at this point, right?
Of course I do. As of right now, I was able to pick up a missense mutation in my AKT protein.
It turns my glutamic acid at position 17 into a lysine. This gives my AKT much higher affinity for PIP2, which gives me constitutive phosphorylation and activation of my AKT.
Oh yeah? And how's that working out for you?
It is going great. My AKT is working crazy fast all the time now. It's phosphorylating CDK inhibitors, leading to more cell proliferation. It is inhibiting pro-apoptotic proteins like BAD, and it is even upregulating my metabolism for me by activating AS160. This one protein does all that for me, and I'm still not an ATC.
That is impressive, but you'll need more than that to become like me. Have you ever heard of P10?
No, I haven't. What's that?
Well, P10, if you manage to get it, would amplify that AKT mutation you're so proud of.
P10 knockouts have been seen to enhance AKT activation. Usually P10 acts as a tumor suppressor, which is no good for us. If you manage to acquire a double mutation at nucleotides 489 and 497, you'll get a missense mutation at lysine 163, leading to an asparagine, and a valine 166 to a glutamic acid. These residues are found in the conserved 7-alpha helix in the protein that helps it form secondary structures. With these P10 mutations, it loses its function and can't work to suppress AKT. If you had this, your AKT would be even more effective than it is now.
That is a great start, though. With that one protein, you're checking off 3 hallmarks. What else you got?
Well, I also have my RET PTC fusion.
Through a gene rearrangement, the 3' end of my tyrosine kinase RET gene was fused to the 5' end of my PTC gene. Usually I need a cysteine to cause dimerization of these receptors, but now it's ligand independent, and they can fuse on their own. Isn't that great?
It is great. You might not be able to invade and metastasize yet, but now that those receptors are ligand independent, it will lead to phosphorylation of tyrosine residues in proteins like PDK1, which is involved in the invasion of metastasis. You'll be motile in no time at all. Got anything else?
No, I think that's all I have for now.
Well, what do some of the other cells in your tumor have?
Well, I think some of the other cells in my tumors have a BRAF, valine 600 glutamic acid mutation. And I think just one cell in my tumor also has a cysteine 228 to 3' mutation in their TERT protein. But I don't really know what those are.
Ooh, that's where the good mutations are. And that's how I became an ATC myself. Although on their own, they ain't too bad.
Having a V600E BRAF mutation activates downstream factors in the MAPK pathway. Usually a protein called MEK is activated through activation of the MAPK pathway when an EGFR is bound to its ligand. Eventually, the signal makes its way down to MEK, then further down to transcription factors like ETS, and the cell cycle, angiogenic factors, and cell survival signals are upregulated. With BRAF V600E, though, BRAF becomes constitutively active, and it is constantly upregulating MEK without the binding of a ligand.
I see. So those cells have constant cell proliferation and they can't die? That's a perfect combination.
Exactly. TERT cysteine 228 to 3 mutation, on the other hand, are very rare in PTC like yourself, but they do happen. TERT controls telomerase activity in cells. Usually after natal development, these stop working, but in the case of these mutations, TERT becomes active again and starts promoting telomerase activity. Neither of these mutations on their own is too bad, but put together make a wicked combination, and is how I became an ATC myself.
Really?
Oh, definitely. What happens is the BRAF mutation activates MAPK pathway, which leads to upregulation of TF called ETS. The same factor can bind the TERT promoter sites created by the C228T mutation, upregulating TERT. Therefore, these cancers have unlimited replicative potential, self-sufficiency in growth signals, insensitivity to anti-growth signals, induction of angiogenesis, and avoiding apoptosis. Cells like myself have a lot of things going for us.
Are all those things what makes you so aggressive and dangerous?
It sure is, and because of this added aggression and danger, it's landed me the classification of ATC, leaving my humans with a mere 1% survival rate after 5 years. I'm something of a big deal in the thyroid cancer scene.
No doubt. But I have a question. What about my older brother? He's an ATC, but I don't think he has BRAF or the TERT mutation.
Hey little buddy, that's because I have a TP53 mutation. I'm a little different from Granddaddy ATC over there. His mutations can be found in some PTC, which under certain circumstances lets him grow into an ATC. Mine, on the other hand, can happen in one of two ways. Either a PTC which has a normal PTC mutation picks up a TP53 mutation and immediately becomes an ATC, or a normal cell picks up a TP53 mutation right off the bat and lets them become an immediate ATC.
I see. So it seems like the TP53 mutations are good ones to have if you want to become an ATC. Which form of the ones you listed are you?
I'm the first one I described. Like you, I was a PTC at first along with the cells in my tumor. Suddenly, some of my cell friends became ATC at the site of just one mutation. I wasn't going to be left behind, so I mutated too. The people studying me could tell this was a way to become an ATC, because when they looked at my tumor, what they saw was that there were regions of well-differentiated PTC cells and areas of undifferentiated ATC cells. The TP53 mutations were strictly found in the ATC cells, implying it must have some effect on the dedifferentiation of the thyroid cells as well. I'm something of a big deal for being able to pull off a mutation like that.
Wow, that's fantastic. How do I get that kind of mutation and what does this do for me?
Well, all you really need to do is find a mutation that causes a loss of function in your P53 protein. Doesn't really matter what it is as long as it works. And what does it do, you ask? Get this. Usually P53 is a tetramer and protects the genome from mistakes and causes an apoptosis if it's unfixable. But with this mutation, if you knock out any of the 4 subunits, P53 can't really do this as well. It leads to a way to avoid apoptosis while also creating tons of genomic instability. Without P53, you can make way more mutations. As long as you're careful not to make a mutation that'll kill you, you can mutate anything from almost any hallmark of cancer. With the right combo, you can become the ultimate thyroid cancer.
The ultimate thyroid cancer! The ultimate thyroid cancer!
The ultimate thyroid cancer! Granddaddy ATC, you didn't get a TP53 mutation. What are you saying? A cancer can dream.
Wow, you both are so cool. I can't wait until I'm an ATC. It seems like I have 2 ways of getting there. Either getting one TP53 mutation, or by having a BRAF and TERT mutation work synergistically. Which one should I choose? I'm not really sure.
Well, papillary thyroid cancer, either one works and touches on the many hallmarks of cancer. Even as you are now, you have impacted many of them, and as you grow, you'll impact more. No matter which way you choose, you'll make the transition to ATC like your brother and I. And don't be discouraged by those other cells. Sometimes they just get lucky and become an ATC without having to go through a PTC first by getting something like a TP53 mutation. Just keep growing and gaining mutations. Eventually, the synergistic effects of all of yours will be enough to make you transition from PTC to ATC.